20 seconds? All right, wait till I come back.
We're recording.
Okay. It's all official now. Get your game face on, Linda.
And you're running back into the street.
2 weeks.
13 weeks right now. She just started napping first, so I could say.
I want to know what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's my first time.
Okay. Exactly. All right.
7 o'clock, I'd like to call this board meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Anderson,
Present.
Bedifer,
Present.
Kuchar,
Present.
Palmaville,
Here.
Yaris,
Here.
Ravish, present. 6 present.
Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you, Rhonda, for rubbing at my nose. I've winterized my motorcycle already.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. Bad on me. I know, I could have used it today. Additions, deletions, changes to the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as printed.
Any motion
Sport.
and support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Community comments on the agenda items. Anybody like to address the board about the agenda? This is, yeah, on the agenda, yeah. Sherry, you gonna say
Up to the end.
to the end?
Not the agenda.
All right.
Passion. Something different.
All right, student sports.
Yes. So our student Spartans couldn't be here tonight, but our middle school student Spartan was nominated in West Coggins, and that is Dane Ivy. Dane is off to a great start this school year. He does what is asked of him, and he participates in class. He has a good attitude. So your student of the month for the middle school is Dane Ivy. Your high school student of the month is Olivia Feddock, and they were nominated by Christy Moran, and she has a long one here. I would like to nominate Olivia Feddock as student of the month because not only is she a joy to have in class with her constant smile and her friendly disposition, she is also an outstanding person. This year we have a new student that does not speak English as her first language, and Olivia, who had 3 years of Spanish, has been willing to help this new student. Olivia has brought the new student to peer mentors, to get involved in a school club. Every day I see Olivia and the student in the library working and on schoolwork together. Olivia speaks Spanish to the student as she helps her with her assignments that are in English. Olivia has gone out of her way to help our new student feel welcomed and included in peer PHS. Olivia has a hard goal and is willing to help others. She is a wonderful example of what it means to be a Spartan. Your high school student of the month, Olivia.
Thank you, Ms. Woodruff. Consent agenda.
Chairman, I make a motion we approve the consent agenda and pay the bills totaling $624,431.49.
Sport.
Motion support. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bedifer,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Palmaville,
Yes.
Yaris,
Yes.
Ravish, yes. Kuchar,
Yes.
6-0.
Motion carries. Thank you. Communication, Mr. Kowalczyk.
Thank you, President Kuchar. I'd first like to talk about a meeting we had with our ISD special education representatives. They went last week to talk about some results, and they gave us some information on how they would be helping us. We completed a form together that determined our accountability for our results and our compliance. And this matrix showed that our results score was 33%, and the state median is 50%. The results portion, that was the 33%, included reading and math assessments from our students with IEPs, and it's not just the results, it's also how many students took the test, how many were supposed to take the test. So that was lower than what we wanted, obviously, at the 50% state average. Then we go to the compliance. we rated our IEPs, we went through the work together, and we were 100% compliant with all of our requirements, things that we needed to do, which was great. That's something that's not, doesn't happen all the time. The state meeting was 83%, and we had 100% compliance on that. So what they do is they put those together, and the total came up to be 66.5. There are different levels in what this is doing. They do this to see how much help we need, to see if we need help with academics, with our compliance. And there are 4 levels: meets requirements, needs assistant, needs intervention, or needs substantial intervention. And we, like every district in our ISD that they did this test with, we're at the needs assistance level, because obviously that 33% is something that we want to raise up. So what that means is they are making plans of how they can help us, what we can do to improve on those things. It's not like a designation through the state where we're seeing, red flags or anything. It's just for the ISD telling us that we need some assistance in some areas that they're going to help us with. So that plan will be coming. We also were given a summary, a special education summary, and that is actually in your board packet. It's a nice little representation of a lot of information. There's a ton. It talks about the graduation data. We were 85% in our district last year for graduation rate, where the state average is 80%, so that's nice. But our graduation rate for students with IEPs, 50%, and the state average was 56%. So we're down a little bit in that one. One of the best things that rarely happens, the timely IEPs, percentage of IEPs reported as timely to the state was 100%. It seems like there's always 1 or 2 IEPs that the parents couldn't make it. There was snowstorm, because they don't care what happens. If it's due on this day, you have to have it by that day or you're out of compliance. So that was great that we were 100% compliant with that. Something that was interesting to them was the initial eligibility. Percentage of initial evaluations that resulted in special education eligibility. So what that means is some teachers say, this student's really falling behind in math, maybe they have a learning disability, let's do a eligibility report. 92.9% of our students that were evaluated were found eligible for special education, where the ISD, our ISD, the average was 81%. So that could mean a couple things. It could mean our teachers do a great job of identifying students that need help, which I'm assuming that's what it is. There could be a couple other things. Maybe we are putting too many students, in with IEPs. I don't think that would be the case because of the process and the compliance things that we follow the correct way. And then the backside just had some more information. 18.25% of our discipline was from students with IEPs. We had 11 removals for 10 or more days from students with IEPs. And student growth percentiles for state assessments, that's kind of an interesting one, where it shows our students, our district math. Our district math was higher. You can't really tell on this black and white diagram, but the district math was higher than the ISD math, but the ISD ELA was higher than our district ELA. So we're doing some good things, but we do need some improvements. And it also gives information that students in the ISD, we have 21 students that are in our ISD programs. That could be in Bay City. More than likely that's where they would be. Well, we actually have our CI classroom here too, and the EI, that's ISD based. So if we have any students in those classes, they would be part of this 21 students. This though, 12% of our students with disabilities, 12% of our students in our district have the IEP, where the state goal is 3 to 5% that are in the ISD program. So we have 12% in the ISD programs. They would like it to be at 3 to 5%, but that depends. I mean, we could have a time where we have students that are really in need of this. So I don't see any students that are misplaced, but we'll keep looking at that just to make sure that we have everyone in the right spot. That was the special education section. We have any questions about that before I go on? About special education? We good?
Yep.
Okay. parent-teacher conferences, we had them last week. I'm probably stealing our student reps thunder a little bit. But I just wanted to let everyone know that we did have 8 career representatives that had tables in our lobby, and I heard great things from our social media posts. People were saying how great it was, and to have parents talking. The whole point was to bring in some trade careers, the union people, the College of Education of Saginaw Valley, our Bay County sheriffs, because they're hurting for sheriffs as well, and just to get students interested and to talk to someone that can help them maybe get into that field of work at some point. So we had electricians and pipe fitters and all the sorts of trades that were involved with that too. So it was great to see them there. Parentguidance.org. You've heard me talk about this, I think, 2 other board meetings. This is the mental health site that we can have for our parents and help them. It's more of a parent guidance, so the name says, of what do you do when you have a student with mental health concerns. I've since investigated other groups, because what I didn't want was to spend our mental health grant money on something where maybe there were other programs that were similar for a better price. And I did have that in here for you. Let's find where that is, because I wanted to explain a little bit of what my findings were. Oops, there it is. There it is. Okay. So what I found, there were 4 other opportunities for parents online like this one: teen counseling, Talkspace, Rethink My Therapy, and the parent guidance was ours. So there were 3 other ones that I could find. And what I wanted to really look for was what would the cost be to our parents if they needed help, therapy, guidance with students with mental health situations. And the teen counseling was between $60 to $90 per family per week if you wanted to use it. Talkspace was $71.50 per week per family. Rethink My Therapy was $40 per week per family. And if we approve the parentguidance.org, it would be 50 cents per week per family. Now, the reason is it's a school-based thing where all of us would have access to it. Doesn't mean everybody's going to use it, but when you average out our number of students or number of families for the cost, that's what it would cost us. It would be 50 cents per family per week to have this opportunity. So the Cook Foundation is the group. That's why I think it's a very good cost, because it is a foundation, a nonprofit that wants to help people with these situations. So this request is also contingent on the district receiving the grant funding through the state. This is no money out of our budget. This is the mental health 31AA grant fund, and this would be a portion of it. This amount would, we would still have enough to do some other things as well. So that is what I wanted to give you the information about that.
I have a question.
Yes.
So just reiterate to me that we would not go through with this if we did not receive
Correct.
a grant for the 43,000. Okay.
Correct. Yep. This would be strictly state money for mental health services for our families, which I think this is a great way to spend that.
When will you know when the grant will come through or not?
Is it November?
I believe they expect it to come on our November state aid.
And if you didn't get that grant amount, where would you go with that then?
There still are some other grant monies that maybe we could use,
That you
right?
could pull into it?
It could be shifted to ESSER, but it would take, again, the state saying, yes, that's an allowable expense.
Yeah.
We believe it is, but the state would have to approve that line in the grant.
Yeah, we would have to request it to be used for that money. Yeah. Any other questions about that? All right. Let's see. The softball cement bids. This is something that I also, we talked about at our site committee meeting, maybe a month or so ago, that Coach Gothier would like to spend some of his funds from his fundraising account to make the cement behind the backstop from dugout to dugout, nice little walkway. Parents put their chairs on. It's not sideways gravel and wet all the time. So that is something that he requested, and I looked at a couple companies to help us out with that, and the bid that I am looking to go with is Wackery Construction. And this is under the amount needed for board approval, but I at least wanted to bring it to your attention, that this is something that I would go with. And if you had any questions, I wanted to be able to answer them at this time.
Is Coach Coffey, is he funding this
Yes.
100%?
Yes.
I didn't see in here anywhere that there was, and you know, I'm no mason, but I do know that without wire and concrete, it tends to.
He's using the fiberglass when I thought.
They still use with the fiber. Just ask ask that question because I would hate to see him pour all that and then have it heave and break, and then we have big patches.
I've got the fiberglass concrete and the 30x30 pad, and it's been there 5 or 6 years now, and I haven't had any issues.
Okay, yep, I will check.
Well, it's just, I know some masons use it, some don't.
Yep. I think that is it. Just a quick update. I'm going to keep giving you this update, keep telling you next week, but the soccer field still has not been hydro-seeded, and that's because they took all the weeds out. They had this machine that went about 1 mile an hour and ground up all of the topsoil about 1 inch in the weeds, and that's what the piles are that you see there. That's the dirt and the weeds. And they were planning to hydro-seed it. He said, I'll be here in the morning, and that's when the rain started last Wednesday, I think, or whatever day it was. It started, it rained for so many days. So now this weekend has been nice, but they're not working on the weekend, obviously. I thought maybe we would see them today. I have a call in to Mr. Lopan to see, like, what's the story, when can we, you know, just nice days, see if we can do it. So I'm hoping to see them out there very soon. That's it.
See the flyer I gave you about the esports there? I'm sure you already saw that. So
Yeah, I did speak at it last year. It's a great experience for our students. We're hoping we'll find a way to send them if we can.
Yeah, at the conference, I ran into the person Andy's been dealing with for the esports, and struck a conversation. And there's a lot of events that they're doing, and pretty excited to do it. So
Yeah, it's great.
All right. Any questions for Coach Walter? All right, student representative Jesse.
Okay, so for our esports team, after 4 weeks of esports competition, the Spartan sport team has 3 wins and 1 loss, and are currently ranked 4th in the state out of 40 teams. The Spartan Shield team has 2 wins and 2 losses, and is ranked 19th in the state. Student council, fall blood drive sponsored by student council will be held Tuesday, November 1st from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. in the all-purpose room. Morning appointments are almost filled, but there are many afternoon slots available. Community members are encouraged to visit the high school Facebook page to find a link to register to donate. The student council will once again be sponsoring Halloween in the hallways on Monday, October 31st from 6 to 7 p.m. Children of the community are invited to participate in this warm, dry, and free trick-or-treat event. 10 members of student council will be traveling to Frankenmuth to attend the fall leadership training sponsored by MASC/MAHS on Monday, October 31st. Students will interact with students from across the state while learning team building and project ideas. National Honor Society NHS induction will be held on Thursday, November 10th at 7 p.m. 23 new members will be inducted on that date. NHS is considering moving induction for next year's eligible students to this coming spring so that the organization will have a full roster to begin with the 2023-24 school year. SAE fundraiser. SAE and some members of the freshman class are selling Little Caesar pizza kits now through November 9th. Orders will be here the week after Thanksgiving. SAE members are fundraising for travel, while those students selling for class of 2026 are getting started on raising funds for their prom. We would greatly appreciate your support for our fundraiser. Varsity volleyball. The varsity volleyball team defeated Harrison 3-1 on senior night last week. The team recognized and celebrated graduating seniors Dalen Bain and Sammy Driegel, while thanking them for their commitment to the team. And lastly, for mentors are sponsoring Red Ribbon Week this week. The goal of Red Ribbon Week is to raise awareness about anti-bullying and anti-drugs. I did get one last announcement for the school board that was not typed up by Mr. Solback. It's about Loco Tubre, which is, this is from Miss Packy. Spanish students are competing in an international contest for competing songs. It's like March Madness, but with Spanish songs. Spanish teachers around the world pick songs to be part of the competition. Students vote for their favorite songs, and PHS students are eligible to win a $10 Amazon gift card or a Loco Tubre shirt. That's all I have.
Thank you. I like that idea of moving NHS to spring. I like that idea. Thank you. Administrative staff.
Yeah, I'll just kind of reiterate Mr. Kowalczyk said about parent-teacher conferences. It seemed like it was packed the whole time. It was crazy to see all the parents that were coming from the community. I think that Mr. Kowalczyk, pushing for those trades vendors to be there was really big. A lot of parents that I've talked to really appreciated not only their kids talking to them, but them talking to them as well as parents. I even think I've seen a couple teachers get some flyers for when they retired. Maybe a secondary thing. But so yeah, it was really cool, and it was just really nice to be able to talk to some of those vendors. The SVSU gentleman as well was wonderful. So it was a successful thing, and I think that's something that we should definitely continue to do.
On the athletic side of things, Mr. Kowalczyk and myself are an athletic trainer, and we understand that hiring one is kind of like finding a unicorn. However, I've spoken to a gentleman named Ryan Long, who is a part of Go For Athletic, which is similar to our WillSub process. And we found out some good information about posting games online and having people apply for them so they accept it, and we would have a trainer for the night. Kind of got a good understanding of what the budget is, what we are allowed to do, what we can make happen, and trying to be proactive and look at all of our basketball seasons for men and women and see what we get. It's kind of at the point we get what we get. We don't throw a fit.
That's my wife's kindergarten class.
Yeah. So gonna see how that goes. And it sounds like basketball season's kind of the best time to do it because a lot of the trainers are working until 5, so then they can get out and just select the job.
I say with Amy and whoever's after we contracted through SVSU, if I remember, was it
It's McLaren.
Yeah,
They have nothing.
just
They've been trying for a year.
McLaren has nothing, and they're trying to hire for their positions, and just the other way around is lacking. So we're going with this route, and
get out of the box, good.
yeah. So we're gonna see how basketball season goes, and then we will have enough financials for the spring sports. So it's a plan in action to make sure that they're even there on time. So.
And not just basketball, wrestling. I mean, we
Yep.
would go for,
Yeah.
we need all the sports.
Other administrators?
The company is currently at Central Elementary, hooking up whatever they're gonna do for our new PA system. Hopefully that will be completed by the middle of the week. And I'd just like to refer back to Andy's report about the special ed with 92% of the kids that get asked to be tested. I think that speaks volumes to our child study process. While as frustrating as that can be, we are really truly identifying the kids that need to be tested.
Yeah, I think those numbers were great, and that we're also not referring so many that we're overusing those resources because they're thin enough as it is. So, to be at that 90% is pretty good. So, teaching myself, you kind of, especially experience, you kind of see that. But yeah, our staff's doing great. So,
John, I got a question for you. Did they finish all the lighting at
Yes.
over there, all the grids and all that's all done now?
Yes, I'm sorry, yeah. All the panels.
Yeah, all
Yes,
that.
I'm sorry, I thought she was talking some other stuff. But
No.
yes, that's all.
Okay.
Anybody else?
And they did a really good job. I mean, they came in and did their thing. You know, the delay in that was not Fox issue.
No, when I talked, it was the grids and it was supply.
Yeah.
It was all supplied.
All right, anybody else? All right, board committee.
The House Student Committee met before this meeting today. Reviewed volume 37, number 1 update of Neola. I listed all the policies on the committee minutes. There's several there. They were all mainly related to our recent financial audit. So they fell in line with the recommendations of that group. We had one follow-up for Mr. Qualcheck, just to confirm a policy talking about flags. And we wanted to confirm that they are talking about district vehicles. Flags are allowed on district vehicles, so it wasn't a student vehicle. So he's gonna clarify that policy. And then we also reviewed a legal actions alert from Neola. And no action is required on that, just to update what's going on in the state.
Any questions? We want to dive deeper into the policy issues. Great. Thank you. Non-consent agenda.
Move to accept that first reading of the Neola policy, volume 37.
Motion support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Item D, the paper bid. You have those in your packet.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we award the paper bid to Central Michigan Paper at a cost not to exceed $30,660.
Support.
Motion support. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Was that Anderson that supported?
Yes.
Bedifer?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Palmaville?
Yes.
Yaris?
Yes.
Rabish, yes. Kuchar?
Yes.
6-0.
Thank you. And the last item, the parentguidance.org.
I move to approve the contract with parentguidance.org not to exceed 43,000 contingents on receiving the grants.
Support. Everybody's jumping.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Don't slam it today.
We have a motion of support. Any discussion? Roll call on that, please.
Palmaville?
Yes.
Bedifer?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Yaris?
Yes.
Rabish, yes. Kuchar?
Yes.
6-0.
Thank you. Public comments. I think Dan Boom's been waiting.
So I get 2, right? Because I got 2 things, so I get 6 minutes.
No. You get 4, you push it on 2, 3.
Okay, first I want to talk about esports. I have 2 students that I've worked, well, one I currently work with and one that I worked with last year. And they're normally students that wouldn't join the sport. So I was super excited to hear that they had joined and were members of the esports, and just got some information about when they play and kind of wanted to, they're like, why? I'm like, well, I'd like to check it out, But that was super exciting for me, and just to hear their enthusiasm and just feel more of a part of the school. And then my second thing is I'm glad that we're moving forward with mental health. Thank you, Andy. And I personally am making this my own mission as well, not only as just of having a family members that deal with this. I have recently gone to NAMI, which is based in Midland, out of Midland Mental Health, and they meet the second Monday of every month, and they have a peer and parent program. The first out is an hour and a half long, the first 45 minutes, like when I went 2 weeks ago. They had a person come in and spoke about de-stressing and how to de-stress. And then after that 45 minutes, then you move into the separate groups. So it's the peers, the ones struggling with mental health. And then you have the other group, which is the caregivers. And it was just a neat experience for myself because a lot of times you feel like you're the only person that goes through it. And so it's just a really neat opportunity. So I talked to Ann Lazaro. She has it on the website to make parents aware. And also they were supposed to start a family-to-family program, which is to better understand and support your loved one. And they were supposed to have one in September, but there was not enough interest. So they're going to start that one in January, but it's an online series and it's like 8 weeks, and you meet, I believe it's the second Tuesday of every month. And so because I think a lot of times, especially with mental illness, it's not obvious to people. And so sometimes I think that's a difficulty in understanding for myself. It's I see this child and I'm like, I don't visually see anything wrong, but I don't necessarily understand what's going on. And so I just think, and also was going to put this on the website to make families aware, and I just think any aspect that we can give our parents and our students an opportunity to help them with this, I just think it's a really good thing.
Thank you. I'm glad you're doing that. Thanks. Anybody else like to address the board? Public comment? Ms. Bauer.
Hello. Nice to see you all. Just let me start off by saying you guys are doing some great things. I love seeing the Facebook posts. I feel like we have a lot of community involvement with what we're seeing on Facebook, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback from the community on things that are happening in the school. So good job to everybody. I do have a couple of questions. Same thing with Ms. Ross, who on the Getting the Scoop with Sue. I think this is an excellent idea, but I've already petitioned this and I'll petition it again. There's going to be low attendance. 3:15 to 3:45 is a really poor time to ask parents to participate in something because most parents are working. It's just not feasible to expect that many parents will be able to attend that. So just keeping that in mind, I mean, rotating times, one time do it this time, another time doing it in the evening, going back and forth, may be beneficial. I think you'll get more feedback because I think we'll be able to attend. I do have another question in regards to our library. I have scoured our webpage and I don't see anything on there as far as a library registry of books. I'm curious if we use an online registry documenting the books that are listed in our library here, both at the high school, middle school, and at the elementary levels. I'm not sure how those are cataloged or how parents have access to that information. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there are a lot of parents kind of communicating about some of the content in books that are available to kids, even at an elementary level, in regards to inappropriate content. And I know previously I reached out years ago in regards to a book my daughter had brought home from the library here, and I was curious, I did my own research on the book because I was very surprised that it was here. So I'm kind of curious, if there's something that we have in place for that. We have the Oasis, it's going to go full lead or full-leg.com. It's I don't know if it's Michigan registry or it's a national registry as far as that goes. And then I want to kind of piggyback off, this wasn't on my radar until you spoke, but the mental health situation, I think where we're going is amazing. I can tell you from personal and friendship experiences that when people are trying to reach out for mental health services, unless their child is suicidal, they're put on an 8-month wait list for counseling help. And it's a struggle, okay? So by the time their child is at that point, I think we've missed the boat. I honest to God feel like we need to be doing more. When I was in school, we were having pep assemblies, and we were having speakers come in, and we were having peer mentor groups, and I've seen some of those things, and we're working on some of those things, but we need to do more. These kids need trusted adults, people they can go to, that are not their teachers and administrators, because they are ashamed of how they feel. They don't feel like they should be feeling like that. We need these external people to come in. I don't know how we pay for it. I'll fundraise for it. But we need more. We need to get those butts in the gym, and we need to have them in assemblies. We need to have more people like we had a couple years back, that gentleman that was here. You know, whatever we gotta do, those positive influences, those positive role models for these kids, we need them to understand that they're not alone. So many of those people have gone through mental health crises, and they can connect with these kids. So, that being said, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Oxford shooting. And I know personally, my children have a personal connection to that. I think we need to be proactive over the next couple of weeks and be really supporting our kids, as that anniversary hits. So, thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Again, you know, I'm glad you're bringing that stuff to the board, but, you know, try to contact the library, try to contact Sue, you know, go to that, go direct means.
Sure.
You know, as far as trying to get results for that, but, and I know the staff's working hard on mental health, and, you know, what Cheryl alluded to, outside sources from here, and I know we're spread thin, but appreciate the support and anything that you guys will do, but it is a big issue. So, thank you. Anybody else like to address the board?
As far as the counselors, if you can find some, let me know, because we want to hire them at the ISD. They're not out there.
I know, and that's what I said, is they're not coming out of school quick enough.
We've had counselor openings at the ISD for over a year.
They're all over the place, and you can go to private industry, and they're letting you stay home now and do it from home as opposed to going in, and they have all the balls in their court. So they're using it, but it's just like teachers and all the resources we have and we need, is there are slim pickings out there. So, you know, I applaud the staff, you know, for doing what they're doing, and they keep seeking to do more, and the avenues, and to have the community support. You know, whether you're just an employee or a parent or a combination thereof, is, you know, people like you in the community that will work with us and help the students and just our fellow community members. So again, it's much appreciated. Anybody else? All right, discussion items from any of the board members?
Yes, I do. I have a couple things. First of all, we all sit on committees. None of these committees, I sit on the site committee. None of these committees, as far as I know, are able to make a decision without the board's approval. We bought a bus for $31,000 that the budget committee said it was okay. And I want to know when the protocol changed, that this wasn't even brought to our radar. I don't oppose it, but I'm opposed to not being told about it. Our policies are the board's approval, and if we were to buy a bus, it's a 5-minute phone call. That, hey, we want to buy a bus, we have to buy it right now. Okay, go ahead. In years past, we said, the budget committee said we want to buy a bus. And we found 2 buses, but we gave them the lead way to, if you find it, go for it. You have our blessing, go for it.
Yeah.
I was a little distraught to see that just came across the check registry without our approval.
In the line item, did we have that? I'm trying to remember the budget, that we carried that over.
Yes.
Line item specifically bus purchases and was approved. The whole budget was approved with that line item.
It was.
Yeah.
But he's correct, we didn't add it to the non-consent, it got missed, and as far as previously when we did it.
Yeah.
I believe that Mr. View must have communicated with you guys, I didn't realize he had done that on the side.
Yeah, I know there's, and what he's alluding to is that sometimes time is of the essence, especially right now, is we can't wait 2 weeks for a board. And so he kind of gets a consensus, which he's allowed to do, to go, yeah, and we'll do it later, but, thanks, so it looks like it was just an omission, mistake, and as good as Chris is,
Well,
you're allowed one of those about, every 5 years or
well, I
so,
understand that,
but you're right, Paul.
in the budget, when we get our stuff, it's just like when we sat in the site committee, we wanted to do asphalt, and I asked Chris, I said, to get a price on it, bring it back to us and tell us, and she said, it's astronomical, and I said, don't even bring it to the board, because we won't approve it. We just don't have it. So, that's all I'm saying, I'm all for the bus, and you guys know that, whatever's good for us, but I just,
Protocol, you're right.
yes.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
just in future, it's a phone call or a text. Just let us know.
Thank you. Any other discussion items?
Who are the current librarians at Central, Linwood, and High School, Middle School?
Mackenzie Geary, high school.
Renelle Lopan is Central and Cindy Coutier is Linwood.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, anybody else? For me, I went to the school board conference in Traverse City. I left Wednesday night, got back last night. And it was a great conference. I appreciate being able to go there. I wanted to get reinvigorated after the last few years of being beat down. And I got that. I talked with a lot of good people and shared our stories. I still think we have one of the best boards around as far as how we function and how we really keep we comes from unique backgrounds and professions. We used to be more diverse except for the 3 teachers on the board right now, but I think that's good for us because we have a lot of insight. But we're always about putting the school first and our egos and our own agendas aside. I still think we're one of the top boards in the state. And I was worried about what this upcoming election might bring, how many people might be running, and we don't have an issue, but talking to the boards around the state, they have 3 positions open, 4 positions open, and there's 8, 10, 12 people running because of the political divisions within those communities. And, I don't know if it's a weird theory. We have an apathetic community where we're doing a good job. Is what I'm trying to say. But we're doing a lot of good things. And kind of what I got out of this is I want to do great. I want to do better. And it seems like the last 3 years with COVID, we were just in such survival phase of what money's coming in, what do we got to spend it on, how can we help the kids, and so there's a few things that I kind of learned, and I'll probably get together with Andy once I can kind of organize everything over the next couple of weeks and float back, because I want to do better. We, at least for my experience, Mike was on here before I got here and did a phenomenal job and let him kind of run the show. I want to provide Andy with more guidance. I feel like we should have provided Mike with more guidance, but it was hard during the COVID to provide any guidance whatsoever. But I want to do that for Andy, and then also with new board member coming on, with Paul not rerunning, is probably do that about 4 to 6 months in the next year. So sometime after spring break, going into the summer, is we can get a feel of the new board member and how our dynamics work, and let that person get some experience, because I'd like to do like a self-assessment, let us know what we're doing, and do we know what we're supposed to be doing. Some of us pretty good about it, some of us just kind of run the gamut, and we definitely have strengths and weaknesses in each area, but again, I think overall we you supplement each other very well. And the other thing is, as far as a strategic plan, you know, I don't know if we've ever had one. I also want to look at the bylaws and some stuff, but we do a good job. That was reaffirmed to me, but I want to do better. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. But it was a great conference. Again, met good people and got a kind of a fire lit back in me, and I needed that. So thank you for letting me go.
You know, you say that, I watched YouTube board meetings of different school boards.
Yeah.
And boards and porches.
There's one district where 5 are leaving. 2 or 3 are regular, just not running for reelection, but then 2 are resigning because they're tired of the politics. So they're gonna have 2 experienced board members coming in to January. And I worry about the kids in that community, and what that's gonna entail. And like I said, whether we're doing a good job or they're apathetic, you know, at least they're not here with pitchforks and torches, so. Thanks, Lana.
I would watch
Thanks, Aaron.
It was the same match. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could get anything
You
done.
always said, back, you won't win, you're doing a great thing.
So that's all I have. Again, other discussion items? If not, we have a closed session we need to go to. Move to closed session. This would be for contract negotiations. Okay. You know, we have a motion of support for a closed session for contract negotiations. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bediper,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yeah.
Yaris,
Yes.
Palmaville,
Yes.
Rabish, yes, Kuchar,
Yes.
6-0 passes.
We'll be going into closed session, so that essentially ends the meeting. It's up to now to come back in open session